7 in a row, FC Cincinnati and their fans are turning TQL into the fortress we all knew existed under that surface. Just needed to get out of our own way. Of course, FCC could win 27 in a row and at home, and you would still have doubters. I'm not talking about critiquing the errors in play or suggesting a player might improve in a certain position. That's all normal soccer talk, but I'm talking about just the random overwhelming comments we just see continuously that if Brandon Vasquez isn't knocking 2 goals in a match, FCC are doomed to fall apart next week. Oh, wait, they won by 1 goal again? Maybe it's the week after that. Next week. Oh, now we're a third of the way through the season? Well, FCC will fall apart by July. I mean, if I keep pushing the date back far enough, then sure, eventually I'll be right. Looking at you, MLS writers. If you want a fair critique of FC Cincinnati, look no further than Pat Noonan. The man has a vision, and he will tell you how FCC is or isn't living up to his goals. That vision will change, though, as the landscape of MLS and FCC's own roster changes. I'm excited to dive into this and a whole lot of other topics tonight. You are listening to Cincinnati Soccer Talk, and I'm Boston Brazel, fresh off some vacation time and ready to get back to work here at CST. The team, though, didn't even notice I was missing because CST is built by great soccer fans that step up and help just make content for other fans. Check out the articles that they've been pumping out over at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. Photo team killing it, snagging shot after shot for not just our work, but also publishing stuff on Instagram, Facebook, our social medias, just for you guys to enjoy. All kinds of stuff that somehow runs behind the scenes because people put in effort to make it so. So go check any of that out, support their work. Let's introduce a cast full of such people. First up, the out-of-towner, Josh Dye. Glad to have you back tonight.
Thank you, and I'm happy to be back and happy to have Boston back running the show. Not that folks, the ship was always on track. It was never off the rails. As you can see, we had to double it up today because we just needed more power. We needed all the WIGO power that we could possibly muster to welcome Boston back. But thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be back.
That must be why Bryan didn't tell you about Orange Shirt Day today here at CST.
Missed the memo. Yeah. Yeah. So.
All right. Next up, we'll welcome in the longtime April host of this show, Bryan Weigel. How you doing, bud?
April host? I did have a May show in there, pal.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, you must have been chilling on that beach for a while because that was a long speech to get into the show. So you must have been just writing notes down in the Caribbean. I took care of all your editing for a couple weeks, so you got a little nice little break there, pal. I missed you though. My wife hates you, but we're all good.
That's my main goal in life is to upset Lucy. So glad I did that.
It's not hard.
And speaking of people I've upset, this man has run away from the podcast for a while now. I did something to anger him, that or he was just being a supportive husband and now father. Big welcome back to Brad Weigel. How you doing, bud?
Dude, I was really struggling about 30 minutes ago. I was like, no, do I have my camera? Do I have my lights? Like, what's going on here? But it's kind of like riding a bike. I plugged everything in, fired up right away. So ultimately that's going to jinx us, but I'm excited to be back. Got to see a lot of people that I haven't seen for a while at the Open Cup game a couple weeks ago. And it was just, good to be back in FCC land. And you know what happens? I go away for 9 months and they become good.
I know.
So I wasn't sure if I was allowed back.
You suffered for years.
It depends what's happening.
The best.
Yeah, it depends what happens on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, playing again this Wednesday. I'm excited. This will be my first Open Cup game of the year. So the other one didn't count, guys. No, Brad. I think a lot of people have missed your voice. Haven't heard you in a while, but those of us that know what's going on behind the scenes, you've been scheduling guests for us. You're working yourself back in little by little, so we appreciate. Maybe what everybody else doesn't get to see. Just so you know, Brad hasn't been that tuned out. He tries to pretend like he has, but
I make sure we get one Apple guest each week. That's my main contribution. So I appreciate all the guys over at MLS Season Pass jumping on board with us this year. I think that's been been a terrific addition, better than listening to me on, let's say, March to Match Day or something to get prepared for the week's show. Jeff Tebetsy's done a great job over there too. So I don't think our listeners are missing much other than the occasional grenade I just throw in every now and then.
Well, you never know if Brad or me or Bryan are going to abandon you, but you know who won't abandon you? Apollo Home. They're still a premium home service provider in Cincinnati. They pride themselves on awesome customer service, expert technicians, and 7-day-a-week service. Next time you need help with plumbing, electrical work, or HVAC service, do not call us. Call Apollo Home, and they will schedule a service visit online at apollohome.com. Time to dive into your best and worst. I watched this game, made sure I saw it, so I knew what I was talking about. So you guys better be on top of your game as well. Bryan, you're up first.
It's first for everything, Boston. I'm proud of you. My best this week, maybe. I think myself said it last week. Nate said it on the walkthrough. Alvis Powell, baby. Glad to see him back in action. Open up some things on the right flank. I think we're still not fully clicking, but it looked a little bit better. And I was excited to see the veteran out there. My second best of the week was Luciano Acosta pointing to that crest as he scored on his former team, saying, "I'm FC Cincinnati, no, DC. Like, I love you in your time, but no, this is me now." So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not going to take it worse because I'm feeling great right now, and there's too much negativity about nothing. We're setting records, like legitimately, we are on like a record-setting point spree. So let's keep going with the positive vibes, baby. Brad's here. Only happy things, only good things.
All right, Josh, we'll dive into you. And by the way, you can't not have a worst. Only one person can take that.
Yeah, I have one, unfortunately. So I'm gonna bring the negativity from afar. That's what I do over here on the East Coast. No, but I'll start with my best. And I as a proud member of the goalkeeper union, to see Roman Celentano continue to develop as a shot stopper has warmed my heart. He made some great reaction saves in the first half that really kept things level and kept them in play. That there was some shots that would have gone in previous years. So to see him get low and to make some short side saves, and to see him get airborne and deflect some stuff away. Still some work to be done in the distribution area, but there's a lot of time to develop that, and it's so encouraging to see a kid that young already be arguably one of the best shot stoppers in MLS, I think.
I lost it when he strong-handed the ball right off Benteke's head late in the game. I was like, that was baller.
Just beautiful. Yeah. Strong hands all around. Love it.
It's finally great to have a goalie be an actual goalie.
Yeah.
What a concept, right?
They mentioned Teton so many times on the broadcast too, because I guess Celentano got the record from him for the most saves for FC Cincinnati history. So because they got it from Teton, they had to and then the announcers hilariously congratulated themselves on saying Shimmy Shaw correctly.
Yeah. The only sad part about that stat is he had I don't know, a quarter or a third of those against the Revs in one week where he had 20 or 30 saves, some stupid.
Yeah, he was taking so many balls at him.
It's crazy.
It was great. And then of course the announcer jinx, where he his next clean sheet will be the franchise record, and he almost had it, but we'll get into that later. My worst, I do have a worst, and obviously Nate doing some great work on CST.com. Go check out his article about the FCC attack might not be as bad as everyone thinks. I still have a little bit of reservations. I do appreciate him breaking it down and just kind of showcasing that this attack is getting into great positions, and they're getting themselves into opportunities, and they have some high XG and are finding themselves in opportune moments. For me, it's that needs to translate into goals now. Same thing happened again this week. Right out of the jump, you had a couple moments where Sergio Santos mishit a ball, Luciano Costa hit one, mishit one later. Not even, of course, you can mention Brandon Vasquez pretty much every week. It seems like, where he's getting an opportunity to get get his season really rolling, and it's just a miss hit there or a missed time there. So I'm ready for this offense to actually start cashing in this XG into actual goals, because while the defense is great and I love it, and I love getting victories is all that really matters at the end of the day, but I'm starting to get a little nervy. I want to see some goals start hitting the back of the net. This XG needs to turn into regular.
You're hearing it now. Josh is demanding 4 goals. So Josh is officially taking over the Demand Better T-shirt from Ken, and now wearing that. So demand 4 goals.
We got Montreal. It's perfect time, right?
House them.
Can I settle your nerves, Josh? FC Cincinnati could lose the next 2 games and still be in second place, tied.
Can we kick Boston back off the show for making that comment? Jeez.
Talk about lose.
Calm down. There's still a lot of scar tissue, guys. We did a lot of March to Match days when we were horrible.
I just feel like, we got a buffer. It's nice to have a buffer for once in our lives.
Waiting for the shoe to drop, aren't you?
Yeah, always. All right, Brad. Best and worst.
I'm going to kind of take a little bit of a counter to Josh. I do think that the best has to be that we are taking what I would say draw performances while we're trying to get our offense rolling and turning those into wins. Where last year we were turning, I would say winning performances into draws. And so that shows that you are a great team. Coach was saying it in his post-game press conference. It's tough to win in this league with all the parity. Guys are coming and going with international call-ups and injuries and condensed schedule. We got the was it the Nations League or whatever it's called this summer with the Mexican team. Yeah, Leagues Cup. That's it. So there's going to be so many different opportunities for different players to get in there. And when you take out, Brenner, you put in Sergio Santos, he's a different player to play with Vasquez. And then you pull Lucho out for a couple games, you put Brenner in. Like, there's been a lot of change with Brandon up front. So trying to get any chemistry, just get reliable service in there, that's tough. So we're still struggling in that area, yet getting wins. I think that's definitely my best for the week. And Bryan must have gotten the rundown. He saw my wording that I took. I spent 3 years on this show talking about a lot of worsts. So I'm going to take 2 positives this week. Okay. And I think my second positive, Boston, sorry. I wrote it on the rundown. You guys, there's proof
I
there.
Didn't read it.
Okay, Boston. My second best goes to pro referees. They did the once unthinkable and recognized they made an error. That call in the Revs game should have been a PK. It was a PK clear as day. I still think there needs to be some discipline against that ref. That was it was terrible. He went into that VAR session totally knowing he wasn't going to turn that call over. And so for pro referees to come out this week and say, yeah, they would have liked that to have been called a penalty was, in my mind, deserves 2 thumbs up.
Did you hear the audio where they're like basically begging the guy? It's like, it's a penalty. And the referee's like, I don't see it. This is the craziest thing I ever heard. They're just like literally like, dude, like you had the VAR referee and the assistant VAR referee both telling the guy it's a penalty. Bonkers.
Yeah, I was actually in attendance of that game, and even Revs fans were like, I don't know. The deject of that fan base when that moment happened, because they knew, like, how is this not? As soon as they went to the VAR, they're like, well, that's gonna do it.
Coincidence that he was 4th referee last week?
I think so. I think it's certainly possible. We had this discussion. Is it me and you, Josh? Somebody else had this discussion that they moved him to the 4th official. They're like, oh, no, he's just resting him. Well, Villarreal did a week in a row. Guido, he probably should have had a rest, but he did it a couple weeks in a row. So
yeah, they're going to sit him down as a 4th official.
Yeah. Kind of wondered when I saw that. All right. Well, my best is that there's no blackouts anymore, and I didn't really appreciate that. And that you can watch these games anywhere. Star 64 was cool if you were here in town, but it wasn't so great when you're out on the road or traveling around. And so I was not even in the United States of America, and I could watch FC Cincinnati on my phone. And that is pretty freaking awesome. And that's my best for the week. I know it's an old take, but it's the first time it impacted me. So I'm bringing it back. And my worst is kind of along those lines. I missed the Louisville game. I think it's my first ever Louisville game since 2016. I've never missed one, period. Been to every game since 2016. That was like a knife to say. I can't say that anymore. And also, any chance you get to just wipe the smiles off of traveling Louisville fans and just look at them and see disappointment in their eyes and their faces. They got to drive all the way back home, crying in their cars. I miss that. I miss that feeling. Seeing purple people miserable makes me so joyously happy.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to do that in a couple weeks here with Columbus.
Yeah, it just doesn't hit the same. I don't know why. I do like beating the Crew when it's happened, but not quite the same. All right, let's dive into a little bit of this match. We do have a special guest joining us soon, so hang around for that. I think you'll be excited. A little bit of Nati SC talk tonight. Sweet jerseys, by the way. Did you guys see these? You know what? I'll save it for Mike. We'll hold up. I think the biggest thing we noticed going into this match was there was no more Gaddis. And the guy that normally subs in the 85th minute was the starter, Alvis Powell. Bryan, did you touch on this at the top?
A little bit.
Alvis Powell. I don't know. It's weird. Like when Gaddis gets rest and comes in, sometimes I'm just like blown away. And I'm like, Gaddis deserves the starting job. But this week, Powell made me rethink everything again. Was it just me? Or you guys thinking you want more Powell?
Well, when Arias can get fit, I'd like to see more of Arias. So let's start there.
He was in practice, like full participant.
Yeah. No, I think Alvis stretches the field a little bit, gives you another option, another release valve to hold a little bit of possession, not have to always go OB Jr. and then maybe out. So I like having him there. Gives a little bit more speed next to Nicky Hags. Unfortunately, Ray Gaddis was just standing there when Taxi Fantas hit his goal. So not a glowing review there, but Ray's been very good this year. Please go check out CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com and just look at the article that Nate wrote. He put, I think like the last quarter of it was about Powell and his differences and his chart getting up the pitch, how he pushes up in the attack more and gets crosses in to the box, or at least in that final third, significantly more than Gaddis does. Gaddis is a lot more. Maybe I'll take a little bit of maybe a dribble, but not much risk in passing and play it backwards towards the other center back. So it's nice to see the field get stretched a little bit. I think you saw a lot of it more early on, maybe. And then kind of DC kind of grew with it and kind of saw how they were doing Powell and adjusted. But overall, something I would like to see more of. Maybe even again on Wednesday versus NYC.
Is that how we get Barrial back into the offense? Is playing Powell versus Gaddis?
No, it's subbing in Brenner at the end to help connect.
Yeah. Well, Brenner did have that. What was that? Back heel?
Back heel.
I've seen so many of those fail this year. Yeah.
No, I loved watching Powell get forward. I mean, one thing I noticed when I rewatched that game today was it opened up another option for center backs to hit a direct ball or hit a cross field ball. I mean, you see that a lot of, if you're seeing Mosquera hit one or Miazga hit one, most of the time it's going to the left because Barrial's the only one that's going to make that run in, that cross run in. Now, if you have Powell get more vertical and actually beat a defender like that, it opens up another stretch option so that, you can open up that space in the middle more for Lucho or Obi or somebody to tuck in underneath and give him an outlet to play the ball in. It seems this team is built right now to kind of get vertical when you have Barrial and then you have Sergio Santos and now you can have Powell in there as well. It gives you some great outlets to hit some long balls, and I think that's obviously going to make things easier on the midfield because they won't have to condense everything in to channel everything, funnel everything that way. If you can have that long ball option, I think it's going to help a lot. So I'm encouraged to see more Powell going forward. Obviously I'd rather see Arias get more time, but having Powell as a nice backup until Arias gets in there is great.
I mean, I used to think it was a weakness, and I almost have done a 180 on that. FC Cincinnati are tied for first place, and they've played a wild combination of all three, and haven't seemed to be much worse for the wear overall. I mean, I think we all have our favorites. I think Noonan has different types of players he can sub in there, Brad. If you want to play a bit more defensively, you're going up against a team. You can put a Ray Gaddis in there. And Arias is great when he's healthy, but I definitely agree with you, Josh, that the midfield looked a little bit better with Powell there, and that's something I think FCC struggled with this year, is getting that midfield to push those balls forward.
The coach mentioned, especially in the second half in his post-game show, when they were able to get Barrial and Powell up on both flanks, that kept the opponent's midfield back. So I think we've seen moments this season where we've all kind of felt Obi and Moreno were a little too deep, and there was just such kind of a disconnect between them and the front three. So I think when you throw those wing backs up, kind of forces, the other team to kind of hold some players back a little bit, and that just gives us a little more flexibility, allows us a little more time on the ball, because I think it's the incisive passes that you guys talk about. It's those little touches that Lucho or Brenner can pass on and free up some guys in space. It's Mosquera or Hagelin or those guys hitting some long balls to free up some opportunities. So I just think if we can, just get out of our own back a little bit and then start to become a little more familiar, build that chemistry going forward, I think you're going to see more chances. And I think that's when you're going to really see Brandon Vasquez take off. I don't think he's lost anything. I know people are worried. I'm not there yet. I just think there's been so many moving pieces around him and the chemistry. And, you look at like the Bengals and Burrow and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase knows that ball is going to be every time. And Vasquez doesn't have a clue where anything's coming from right now. That's not fully on him. He needs to hold the ball better, but I think come the end of the season, it's going to be a different player.
I'm not sure we're playing the same game anyway as we were last year when Brandon Vasquez is going off. Teams used to think they could come in here and possess the ball and run over FC Cincinnati, and that enabled a lot of breakaways, in my opinion, for Brenner and Vasquez and Acosta to take advantage of teams that maybe pushed a little too hard and got their back line up a little too far. And now teams know to look out for that stuff. I mean, I think everybody forgot at the beginning of the year. The coaching staff warned us that everybody knows who they are now. I mean, do you guys not remember that the whole preseason? Like, we're not going to surprise anybody. We're not going to surprise anybody. And then as soon as the season started, we're like, whoa, we're kind of surprised. Brandon's not doing the same thing. Well, other teams are playing a little bit more cautiously, if I had to guess. We don't have to guess about one thing. There's going to be a team representing Cincinnati in the TST tournament. We've had them on before to talk about it a little bit, and we are pleased to have Michael Millay back. Now that it's closer to it, it's no longer like this distant thing in the future. It's here, right, Michael?
It is, bro. It's what do we got? 22 days till the first game. So doing a little final touches here on the body and stuff. So trying to get ready.
Yeah. So back when we first talked to you, we had a lot of out of shape guys talking about how they needed to start working out.
Yeah. It's everybody's come a long way, man. I think as a lot of the teams have been announced, I think we've really realized how much we need to turn up the volume a little bit. So I'm actually down. I'm down 25 pounds. So I'm hoping my body will hold up in a more fast-paced environment. But I'm still like 12 pounds more than what I was playing at before. But I like to say I got more muscle now. We'll go with that.
You're the enforcer, dude. You can't you're the first guy that you step off the bus makes other teams scared.
Exactly. That is kind of my goal. I'm gonna have like a really extra small shirt and make sure I barely eat the last bit so the abs are looking good. But
see, what you need is those shirts with like the tight spandex around the bicep, so you just look jacked.
Exactly. I think what's crazy is like we're obviously just rolled out the jerseys, but we haven't like played in them or anything too. So I'm excited to see like how well they fit.
It's gonna be just George. The Yankees. Did they switch to all cotton? What are they doing?
Oh
If
yeah.
you get that reference.
No.
I bought my jersey today. I was so stoked. I had to get a large. You know, I'm not of shape now too.
Did you get a white one?
I did.
How'd you get one? I went and they were like,
I'm a little
sold
nervous
out.
about that.
There's some white ones left. The home kit went crazy and went
There's
pretty
a
quick.
there's
I
a
got me
medium.
one of those.
There's a medium, but I'm not ambitious. So
I think there's one medium and like 2 smalls left of the home. But
You find a way to get some more L's in there, and I'm back in it, man.
there's a large for the whites, but we probably will do another run. Honestly, I honestly had no idea how they were gonna sell, so we ordered 80 jerseys. But obviously, like after that first day, I think we had sold 55 in the first day.
Yeah, you're gonna start up with bomb pops and don't know how they're gonna sell.
Well, yeah. The thing was, man, is like, yeah, I just didn't know. Honestly, I've never. I mean, I was in merchandising before, but I like have no numbers on like what the club does or anything, you know. And also, we're a bona fide adult league team, so yeah. I mean, the goal was just to bring back some nostalgia with all of it, and yeah, fortunately they did well, and everything's going towards just like our travel fees and everything. So it definitely was nice to sell a bunch. So
yeah, I noticed a big bank on there. I was like, whoa,
for
Fifth
what?
Fifth Third, where'd that come
Oh
from?
yeah, no, yeah, we got some great sponsors, honestly. Yeah, I mean, Fifth Third came in as a jersey sponsor, and kind of have been talking with them just about the whole journey, and yeah, I mean, really, they just love the story, honestly, that everybody getting back together, and we're going to be doing a lot of content throughout. We'll actually have like our own content team. So Rooted is partners with TST, so we'll have 12 people out there covering the tournament, and then Nati SC will have basically our own crew too. So we'll have a videographer, a photographer, and a social person out there, basically giving everybody like a full behind the scenes of the journey. Like we're going to do a little mini doc of the whole, like everybody coming here and training, and then everybody traveling together. And so it'll be fun. I think they kind of bought into that whole thing. Obviously, I kind of caught wind that Chad was going to sign with us, and so that was kind of like a tipping point for a couple of the sponsors. They knew like with us it was great, but with Chad the exposure was going to be 10x. So
yeah,
I told him afterwards they had signed before, and Chad became official, and I was like, man, the price just should have just tripled on you guys, but. We're grateful for that they're coming, man. It's also too that it's cool that they're both, you know, Cincinnati companies, so
sure.
it's an all Cincinnati affair.
So real quick before we get into the competition, your schedule and everything, Chad, how did that come around? I know I saw some stuff on Twitter. I made a joke about, hey, this is real soccer, not FIFA, and I absolutely got crushed on social media for that. But how did you and Chad connect?
Yeah, so it's kind of a whirlwind of things, man. When we first announced Nati SC, because we were the 4th team they announced, we had I don't remember if we tweeted at him or he tweeted at us, and basically we kind of just hit his DMs, and we're just like, hey, if you're serious, like let's actually talk. And he was like, yeah, I'm definitely down. And it kind of just like was at a standstill for a while, and then we got connected with his agent, and his agent and I kind of just worked through everything and figured things out. We're still kind of figuring out like if he's going to come here and train with us. That's kind of like the last piece, but he's definitely going to be there for the tournament, and he'll be playing some games. So it's kind of all over the place. I mean, everybody was tweeting at us, and it was one of those things where like we wanted it to be like a bomb drop, and so like I couldn't tweet back and be like, actually, we're talking to him, like just calm down. But like everybody was, also all the other teams were trying to recruit him as well. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously with the Cincinnati ties, he was yeah, he was pretty sold on playing with us. So it's it'll be a good time.
I can see it now. You guys are all trying to cut weight and get in shape, and he pulls up with a bag of like 8 double cheeseburgers from McDonald's coming in the locker room.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys are all going to
Yeah, we
be
need
on
to-
the Chad diet plan now, whether you want to lose weight or not. It's Chad. It's
Yeah.
Chad for science now.
It's really good for my celiac disease. McDonald's and gluten are good combinations.
So when you guys announced, we were quick to have you on because we were super excited about it. I know there's already I've heard some fans are traveling down, but a lot of the other teams hadn't come out yet. Like what'd you say, you were fourth?
Yeah, we were the fourth team. Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, there's been. Tell us who else. Like, there's some big names now. Is Wrexham in there now, and like some other big names, right?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I mean, I feel like we kind of kickstarted basically like the trend of the pro alumni teams.
Yeah.
So you now have, obviously, Wrexham is bringing I'm pretty sure they're bringing a combination of current and ex alumni. Like, I'm not exactly sure who they're playing. I know a lot of teams they're allowing basically every team, like rosters had to be set 3 days ago. And then they're allowing every team to have like 3 mystery players that they don't announce publicly. So like, we'll just roll up to the field against some teams and like, there's just going to be random superstars that were like, oh my God, this is insane. But yeah, Wrexham got a team. Dortmund is putting in a team. West Ham put a team in. Wolverhampton put a team in. Club Necaxa, which is like a first division team in Mexico. Cesc Fabregas is playing on a team. Dude, there's just like a ton of insane names. Sneaky Fox basically pulled, they'll have Landon Donovan, Nick Raimundo, Jermaine Jones announced he's playing, Eddie Johnson. I mean, there's so many legends that are playing now. It's insane. But I think we got a good draw, honestly. I feel like we were kind of like some of the groups are like brutal. Like some of the groups are incredibly hard. And I feel like, Gracie is going to be a toss up. Like, we really don't know because they're pulling just like a bunch of Brazilian players and like, we don't know if they're going to be good or bad. So like, we're hoping we can beat them. And then Hashtag obviously is, bringing some of their current squad, but they're, 8th division. I think they just got promoted to 7th division. So we're hoping we can put up a good fight against them. I think we can beat them. And then I think the biggest player in our division is the Conrad and Beasley team. They just have a lot of former MLS and national team stars. So we're playing them third. So we're hoping they're not training and we can come and have that third game be one that we're fit enough to battle against them. So I think we have a good shot of moving on. So it's we definitely got our draw and we were happy with it compared to some of the other groups. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to criticize you a little bit here, Michael. You are playing, Gracie, who is a bunch of Brazilians, but also like martial artists. You can't tell me Jibby Fall wouldn't have been dangerous against these guys. I mean, come on, man. Them choppers. No, I think it's pretty exciting, though. I mean, you said you got a bunch of Brazilians, Fluminense. You got, Dwayne De Rosario on Beasley and Conrad's team, and then you got some tremendous guys on Nati SC. Last time we spoke, we talked about Danny Koenig. Has there been any other changes to the roster? I mean, I know I think you had some local guys. Chad, I see a guy from like Orlando City.
She still got 3 surprise spots.
That's our main thing. Yeah, we brought Alan so Alan works for Rooted. Alan's cynically gonna be like if somebody gets hurt because he's on our team and so he'll be there working it. The tournament, like on the content side.
Mm-hmm.
So we basically had a deadline for the roster that was like, hey, after this date, you can't add anybody else. So we basically had Alan, submit just in case, obviously we're older, just in case something extreme happens that we need a fill in without having to fly somebody in. But yeah, the roster is going to be the same. So Eric actually Eric took a job with St. Louis City, so he worked at Rooted as well, which was awesome to see him move on and take a video role there. So he can't play anymore. So it is really, it's just our FC Cincinnati alumni and Chad. So it's really just those core guys, and then we brought Chad into the mix. But I think the goal with it too is, like, obviously you have your Jibbies and you have a lot of other former players. Our goal is to hopefully do this every year. So obviously we don't want to, we wanted to keep this first year really to like mainly that core OG team. And obviously you got guys like Matt Boehner, but Boehner and I played together in college and have a great relationship. And, he was just retiring. So it was kind of a perfect fit there. But the goal is to kind of bring in new faces every year and hopefully, keep things fresh. And obviously, if some of these guys, some of the Corbins of the world want to play a couple years in a row, obviously we're not going to say no to them too. But yeah, this year is hopefully just like a kicking point to bring something special for the fans and giving all the fans, an additional thing to look forward to.
If I already see somebody here in the chat saying they're hoping to go down for the games Friday through Sunday. What is the schedule like? What FCC fans that are just chilling in the area? They're like, no, I have to go see these guys beat the crap out of #United. How can they do that? Like, what's the best time frame?
Yeah, so I believe they just released the exact times the other day. We're guaranteed 3 games. So we play 2 games on the first. We have a 12:30 game, and then we have an 8:30 game. There you go. Yep. So look at that. I nailed it. Freaking memory, dude. Let's go. And then, yeah, day 2 we play at 12:30 again. And then when we move on from our group, we play again on the 2nd. So I believe we'll play again at 8:30 on the 2nd. So I know they're offering like group stage bundles. They have individual games or a group stage. I think they're like $90 for the group stage. You basically will get three games for that price. But yeah, those are the games we're guaranteed. So like if people are wanting to come down, I recommend, obviously, we are planning to move on, but if you want to play it safe, obviously those are the 3 games we will be playing no matter what. And honestly, it's been awesome to see how many fans are coming. I mean, even Jimmy texted me last night. He was at the game and he was like, dude, so many fans have stopped me, said they're coming down. Which actually, like, I think I messaged you guys earlier, but they're going to be allowing us to do some cool stuff with our walkouts. There's like some opportunity to basically do like walkout songs, but also some kind of like activation, so to say. Like, we're allowed to bring people with us on the walkout. So like,
oh, cool.
If the Bailey wanted to lead us out with the drums on to like our field, like we could make it happen potentially. So,
nice.
Could we send Gary Stone down and he can come down?
No.
Oh God.
Yeah, we'll have Chad pull the sword.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's actually the hard thing, man, is we have to be careful with like what we're doing. Like, we're not officially affiliated with the club.
Right.
So like, we have to be careful like with what we're doing. Like, obviously, even just from a sponsorship standpoint, like we have conflicting sponsors with them. So like, we just have to manage, like, we're not an official FC Cincinnati team. Like, we are
You're Nati
alumni.
SC.
But yeah, we're Nati SC.
I heard that there's a mascot that was just banned from TQL that might be willing to travel down to
Yeah, did you see that?
North Carolina.
No, I didn't. What is that?
Someone made like a sad version of Gary, called him Opie, and the club just banned him. He got banned from the stadium.
It's actually amazing. It's amazing.
Think of Gary, but like a more balding version.
More sad.
That's
He had some rough times.
Yeah, actually banned it. Like, where they're like, hey, this is.
Yeah,
they actually banned him.
Because it's really close to the same costume. Like
okay.
they came in with the ban hammer.
Yeah.
They pretty much encapsulated how 2019 to 2021 FC Cincinnati fans felt in a mascot form.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I got to see the picture. You guys have a picture?
I'll send you a photo. Yeah, I'll send you a photo. It's pretty funny.
Okay, yeah, share it with me. Maybe we use that as our mascot. No, sure.
Hey, reach out to Kevin Walsh. I'm sure he'll hook you up. Real quick, I know we were talking about jerseys and everything. Is there additional ways besides traveling down to North Carolina that fans could help support you guys? I know you're talking about different fees and travel, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is like, well, one, I think the hardest thing is, I mean, this has been so much more work than I expected in the first place. Like, I think even just logistically, like coordinating everybody here, because I think,
You're
like
just
I
trying to play
mentioned,
soccer with your boys.
yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be a task, but like, I mean, even just coordinating, I mean, we're coordinating flights for everybody. We're coordinating lodging here and then lodging there for everybody. Obviously all the jerseys. And so there is actually going to be additional jerseys too. Like basically the tournament ended up closing in jerseys for after.
I think we might have missed Michael there for a second. Hopefully he comes back.
Yeah.
Well, if he doesn't come back, I've got a great idea. You guys ever heard of the AT&T Pro-Am at Pebble Beach? You know, the PGA Tour pros, they bring people.
There we go.
I was going to recommend to Michael, if he's worried about like competitive teams, or like worried about his competition, what he needs to do is like the night before, he needs to have like a Skyline clam bank and serve all the other teams Skyline.
Oh no.
The night before the game. And
What's funny is I want, if y'all have connections with Skyline, I would love an introduction, because we
follow
actually
us on Twitter.
Yeah, when they and let's make this happen. But when they told us that we could kind of like script our walkouts, so we basically like, it'll be a solidly long walk to our fields. And I was like, dude, all these other teams are gonna do the classic marches. I was like, why don't we just get Skyline to sponsor us, and we all just like walk out with Skyline in our hands, like we're servers of Skyline.
Yes.
I was like, it'll go viral. People would love it. And obviously we don't want it. We don't need to eat it before the game, but yeah.
Why not?
Or
we
we can't get that close and not smash a coney right before.
you would win
Yeah.
if you had like a diet Mountain Dew mascot. Like that would be end all be all.
Oh yeah,
Cracker bomb.
yeah. That's it's gonna be fun little content moments though. Those walkouts. It'll be fun for sure. But yeah, if anybody knows Skyline, we can either feed it to the other players the night before or walk out with it.
Nice. Yeah, if you're not used to it, then who knows? But
yeah.
I don't think it affects true Cincinnatian.
So
Yeah.
I do have one question about Chad Johnson. I know we were talking about some other thing, but is there like a legal requirement to have like a masseuse on hand? Because like the guy gets like pedicures every night or something like that, right? Like you need to be prepared. You need to give him like GPS instructions to a local nail salon, because he gets them like daily.
Yeah, that's hilarious. It honestly has been cool though. I mean, we have like there was a local cryo place in North Carolina that hit us up and was like, "Hey, we love what y'all are doing. Like, if you guys want to stop by after every game, like come by." So we are getting like random resources like that. So maybe we will hit up a pedicure spot locally in Cary to hook him up.
If he tells you to put your feet in one of those little fish things, don't do it.
Oh no, my feet are not going in any tanks.
This is why Brad's on the show once every 9 months.
I really do like what TST is doing though. They're making this a lot more like down to earth, fun.
Oh yeah.
You throw all the security, like I'm sure there'll be security, but you know what I mean, like the disconnect sometimes you can feel in a stadium between fans and players. A lot of that seems to be going out the window here.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, yeah, it's like they're definitely changing the game. I mean, we've had a lot of conversations with them about everything, and it's like it's just going to be so fun. I mean, I think even just the tournament itself, like you have current pro teams, and then you got teams like Indiana University, you know, who are like college alumni mixed with some current college players. You know, like there's no other tournament in the world where you could see this happen.
Right.
And even like what's cool too is like even our content team, you know, like they were telling us like, hey, somebody scores a goal, like y'all can run on the field. You know, like they're kind of like stripping everything down. I'm sure, yeah, the fans will be able to have a lot of access to everybody too, which will be sweet.
Well, after all the comments from league officials this week, they might need you guys to run the coverage of the U.S. Open Cup.
Dude, I saw they missed that goal. Is that what you were referring to?
Basically, Don Garber came out. It's like, our product's not worth the Open Cup, or the Open Cup quality is not worth our teams or something. Show it to a bigger audience. It's like, it's the wrong attitude. They need to take your guys' attitude, not that attitude.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, I'll run the league. No, sure.
But after TST just blows up and the tournament, I actually think this tournament's going to do pretty well. I think you're going to get a lot of people who don't watch soccer that much to pay attention. Is my theory.
Yeah, I mean, you have like random. I mean, even like Noah Beck. I don't know if you guys know who Noah Beck is, but like Noah Beck is one of the biggest TikTokers in the world. He's got 10 million followers on TikTok. Like, he's playing on the Dortmund team. You know, he played soccer back in the day, but stopped to be a content creator. And there's so many people that just have massive followings that are going to be there. Jeff Cameron actually was playing. I messaged him and I was like, dude, what the heck? Like,
yeah.
Man,
I saw he was playing.
Yeah.
What team is he
on? I forget what team he's on. He's playing with Breck Shea. But I had talked to him about this before TST launched, and I was like, dude, if you end up retiring, like, let me know. We could use you. But then he went to the dark side, so maybe we'll get him in a future year.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, man. We don't want to keep you hold up all night, but people that listen to our show that are interested, this is an awesome opportunity to go down, see a lot of cool players, see a lot of former Cincinnati players. June 1st is when you want to be down there, and FC Cincinnati doesn't even play till June 3rd, so you got plenty of time. Go down to North Carolina, check it out. Yeah. You could do it all. You could go to all 3 games and still be home in time. So go down and support these guys. I am trying my darndest to figure out a way to get down there. I probably will. This is a blast.
We need to just find a way. We need to find a sponsor to cover the cost for a bus,
right?
Because it's only like a 7.5 hour drive, but
buses are not too bad if you can get down and back in the same day. Then it gets harder when you have to stay the night.
No, for sure. Yeah, the lodging down there. I mean, if people are gonna travel down, I'd recommend booking lodging now, because it's a smaller town, and I'm pretty sure they've sold like 20,000 tickets to everything already.
Oh wow!
So
wow!
It's gonna be the city's gonna be on fire for sure that weekend.
What's the crazy one they do in the desert? Is this the next Burning Man? Yeah, is this the next Burning Man? Everybody goes to a small town in North Carolina.
Next tournament's gonna be on sand, but
awesome.
Dude, I would love for them to bring the tournament. If they could bring the tournament to Cincy,
oh yeah,
that's my.
You guys you'd have such an unfair advantage.
We would have a lot of support. I think the biggest way to do that, like, we need some big sponsors to be like, hey, if you guys come here, we'll help pull some sponsor support, because it's going to drive a lot of economic impact for the city, and I think it would be great here. I mean, there's nothing like this. And I think 7v7 is definitely going to keep blowing up in soccer. I don't think FIFA has any sanctions on the 7v7, so it's kind of its own little beast right now that nobody really has a stronghold on in the States. So I think TST is really, really doing it right. So I think if you're going to get in on it, the time is now.
All right. Well, hey, if this, we want to wish you luck. If after June, when you settle in, you want to go, you're serious about this stuff next year. I think we have a connection here that we can send your way. The commission in town here that tries to bring sporting tournaments. There is actually a group that does that. So we can put you in contact. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We definitely would. The sports commission, everything with bringing events here. I'd love to. I mean, I kind of know a little bit. I haven't really pushed it unless TSC really is like, hey.
Let's see how it goes. But
they're pretty. I mean, I think
they're pretty open to stuff. We've talked to them before.
Oh yeah. I think it's one of those things where it's like, if TST is open to it, I think we could definitely make it happen here. The biggest thing is pulling. Where's that stadium game? Because I believe there's 6 pitches. But that's a conversation for another day. So
sure.
I appreciate all y'all's support, man, and thanks for all you guys do for all of us. So Grateful to always be on here.
It's great to have you. We hope you get a chance to go down and check out Michael, North Carolina. As we said, June 1st. It's going to be popping. So
you guys will actually get to see me play soccer.
Yeah.
You guys have never actually seen me play.
No, I have. I saw you, man. Dutch Lions days.
I mean, one Crystal Palace game for 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
We have a photo. We have a photo. It happened.
We have a couple photos.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. What we just need is like a Dan Williams moment where he just like ran the whole length or something. I don't know.
Dude, Dan Williams was a legend, bro. He's definitely a future signee for years to come.
Yeah.
The cat. That's what we called him. Cool.
All right, man. We're going to get you out of here. We appreciate it.
Have a good one. Later.
Thanks, buddy.
I appreciate Michael dropping by. That was fun. We always go way over on those segments, and I don't care one bit because it's a blast. I love how Michael. We have photos of that. I would wager we have the second largest photo archive first largest outside of FC Cincinnati themselves of matches since 2016. So if you're ever looking for a photo of a certain game, I bet we got it in the old CST archive. That's just a random thing I just thought of right there.
I'm just thinking of the photo Bryan found of Jimmy exchanging jerseys with that one guy who threw his jersey away.
Yeah, that's what I mean though. Jimmy told that story. We hit the photo archive. Boom. We got a photo of it. How cool is that?
If they want like a sponsorship opportunity to raise money for that bus, he just needs to sell signed copies of that.
Yeah, I think it would work. Where were we, guys? Before Michael popped in and gave us his awesome BST stuff.
All right, I'll drive here real quick. Before we jump into Brenner, how about, we're talking about right back side, left back Alvaro Barreal and that wonder strike. I tweeted about it, how he went and hugged his dad following that strike. I just thought it was a cool moment, one of my most favorite moments in FCC recently. But I was talking to the guys from New York City FC, Hudson, the Hudson River guys, and I was like, I think this is going to be the next player, the next big player that gets sold for a lot of money that you're not like necessarily fully up on yet. But I think we got one of the best left backs in the league. I think we say it every week too, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was something I mentioned that like I can recall talking about at the beginning of the year of just like, this could be the year of Alvaro Barreal, and then all of a sudden we're going to look in the summer and be like, oh crap, how do we turn down $12-15 million offers for Alvaro Barreal? But I mean, realistically, the way that he's played the last couple of years, or the last couple of matches, like it's he has to be getting mentions. There has to be people in Europe having conversations about it.
Yeah.
At least putting scouts in the room.
Josh, they asked me this question, and I want to get going to the next topic real quick. So we'll put a ball on it here. But
Sure.
They asked me what my thoughts were about Brenner leaving. I'm going to be more disappointed if, like, I know it's coming because Barreal's going to leave too. I'm going to be like devastated because this dude, he laid it out there. So he's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We were having such a good time, and you guys had to go bring this topic up.
Well, you kept running for 8 minutes there talking about the Cincinnati Sports Commission, Boston. So.
Oh yeah, I don't know when the next Mike's famous. He's gonna be famous soon. I don't know how next time I can talk to him. Okay.
I got a cell phone number, pal.
Let's get to Brenner. No more. If you say that Barreal might leave loud enough, somebody might hear you, and we just bury it deep down in your.
So Mascara's terrible too. We're gonna go along with this.
They're already saying he's gone, though. It's sad.
That's what we gotta have Mike talk to the Wolves guys there and just send the intel. Like, he's been terrible.
Yeah.
Don't just go back to Wolverhampton. Tell him he's been bad. We have an in.
Brenner gets injured, goes down in the end of the match, and you just kind of like all of a sudden questions popped in my head that I had never thought of. Like, what happens if Brenner gets injured? Like, what's the deal with the contract? Does he stay in Cincinnati? Does the whole thing fall apart? How does that kind of stuff work? Have you seen it before? Because an uneducated, just plain old MLS fan like me was very curious. Either of you guys seen anything like that? And we believe he's fine. For the record, it's come out he's probably okay. He's in a walking boot this week. You're not going to see him rolling out versus New York in the Open Cup, but word on the street is he's totally fine. But if something like that was to happen, in my brain, Bryan, can a contract be voided because of an injury?
I'm just gonna say take the check, cash it, and move on. I don't know.
I think it's Brenner that wants to play though. People saw Brenner out in Cincinnati this week, and he told at least from what we saw online on Reddit, and he even promised one fan he would score a goal for him, and he was for sure playing. So I mean, the guy obviously seems to not want to slow down despite having a deal in Italy. If Brenner wants to play, do you let him play?
Brad, you're on here once every 9 months.
Dude, I'm just listening to him saying he gets his news off Reddit.
It's a valid source. This is a small city. This is a small city here. So
you don't get any mercy when we're on here, pal.
I mean, he's gone. He's gone. I think he's just going to be probably a super sub role from here till then. Which, I mean, if I'm Pat Noonan, that's kind of what I do anyways. Keep him sharp enough just for Udinese, less likely chance of getting injured. But, the two forwards that are going to carry this team to the championship are going to be Sergio Santos and Brandon Vasquez. So I think you roll with those two guys, and then you sprinkle in Brenner when you can, even though, I mean, he's an amazing talent. I wish him all the luck in the world, but it's a tough spot to be in when you're Pat Noonan, but a great spot to be in. You've got a lot of options, and I think we'll see how he does. We'll see how long he lasts. I think we got him for a little less than 2 months now, so we'll see.
Yeah.
And he looked like he cared when he was out there. I mean,
No.
that was
No doubt.
always kind of the people had that questions of like, well, if he goes out there, is he gonna kind of just jog around and say no? He was moving, so. I think, I think you're gonna have Pat Noonan's gonna have conversations with his now new parent club of making him reserve a hold a little bit back in terms of minutes, but I think he wants to play, and I think he showed at least in one sample size that the transfer is not going to change how much he's going to care out on the field. So if he wants to be the new Sergio Santos role, where they just they flip roles, then great. That's not a bad person to come off the bench for 30 minutes.
And you got to think Kimi's probably on international duty for the next month, and then I'll probably get some time off after the U20 World Cup with Guatemala. So he'll probably be out till June sometime. So it's really Brenner and Dom Bashi. I mean, and Kubo. If somebody gets hurt, Kubo is going to have to be pulled out of the midfield and go up top. So I think if Brenner's healthy and willing, I think he's your first option at worst off the bench.
Yeah, you got some young stars. FCC 2 leading the league down there.
Well, yeah, he's in Guatemala or going to the.
I'm just hearing you guys say we need an emergency loan for Nick Marcanic. So
you guys act like I'm crazy, man. Those are like $5 million ankles. One's $5 million, the other's $5 million. You got to be careful with those.
Don't think that's how it works, but go ahead. I like it.
And let's not forget, they're conceivably going to replace Brenner with you hope a striker, right? I mean, you
sounds like they've already got their eye on somebody.
You got to believe that something's happening behind the scenes. You trust Chris Albright to replace it somewhere.
Go check out CST. Kevin Likens, one of our new contributors, wrote a story about that this past week. So go check that out. He's got another story or so in the hopper too.
Yeah. FCC get this weekend off though. We got Open Cup Wednesday versus New York City. So real quick, if you're Noonan with the weekend off, are you going? I mean, so New York plays New York. Am I right this weekend?
Hudson River Derby.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Are they? They have to have their eyes on. I mean, that's their biggest seller up there. You play for where your fans are. You play for your home crowd. So, are New York looking forward? Maybe that'll be interesting to see if they play a little bit lighter against FC Cincinnati. But if you're Pat Noonan, Brad Weigel, What how you rolling out here? You going to go ahead and go all out because there's nothing but breaks after this, at least until next Wednesday.
It's not that hard of a question, Brad.
Mix. I think it's still gonna be a mix, but I don't know. I think he's still probably actually be young. You don't want to jeopardize Moreno getting injured. We've seen what happens. You've seen Waboto, who's been hurt. He'll probably be resting. I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be a lot like what it was against Louisville City. A lot of those same guys minus Kimi. So I don't know. Maybe get Kubo some more minutes out there. Maybe put him up next to Dambaji. I think it's still gonna be a mix.
I wish New York Red Bulls were a little bit better because right now I think New York City FC can totally take that game for granted. They're coachless.
Yeah. FCC2 took a lot of guys that started in that match versus Louisville to Toronto this past weekend. So they played on Sunday, so they're on short rest on travel. It wouldn't shock me one bit that they plan to roll out a good lineup. Coach Noonan came out and said, fastest way to get a trophy, get a Champions League spot is this competition. So yeah, I think you're going to see more starters in this match, and I think you're going to see more starters than New York has to offer. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Bleacher
Good
Report
week for Brandon Vasquez
No.
to start rolling a little bit because I bet he starts.
He's going to feast, huh? Josh is already coming out and saying Brandon Vasquez is going to score 4, demanding better for 4.
Demand
4
better.
goals. Demand better.
Acosta better be on that field then. So, yeah, I'm interested to see. I think you put a little bit of oomph in this one more than Louisville. There's no reason to drop out of the Open Cup when you don't play. I think it's a sorry excuse to not take it seriously when you have the weekend off. Next week, however, is going to be a bit of a congestion. Wednesday, the weekend, and then what is it? Wednesday again? Montreal, Columbus, and then no, they don't play again until the 27th. But that's it. That's what I'm calling the end of the homestand, because you get New York, Montreal, Columbus, and then the home derbies are finally over. So
Is your new pause to think of what you're going to say?
yeah.
I love it.
Get it while it's good. If we can finish through Montreal crew with this win streak, I'm happy. Like, what else can you possibly ask for? Nothing else left.
Got more winning to do, baby.
That's right. We real quick, let's give a shout out to our sponsors. You can tweet at us at Cincinnati Soccer Talk. By sponsors, I mean our fans that donate on our Patreon page. We appreciate you guys. You guys are our sponsors in a way. Red Lee, John Davidson, Mike Hudson, Laurel Failer, Matthew Adamczyk, Riley, Stephen Burke, James Denbrough, Tom Newhouse, Brian Weigel, Brian Gills, Dan Alberts, Will Kajcek, Ian Rexroad, Carl Fight, Christina Sharma, Kyle Pohl, Rupesh, Tom Beaversdorf, Jason, who is super average, John Haskell, Ryan Ernst, Mary Lou, Wes Anastasi, Rob Pierce, Clifford Adams, Thomas Steph, Pierce Johnson, Mike Parentis, David Wiederhold, Rob Gasell, Brad Weigel, Kevin Day, Paul Hedger, Jamie Smed, Alex Carnegus, David Tingler, Patrick Lahani, Mike Bowman, Brett Sova, Kevin Cooney, Joe Max, Jack Emery, Sarah Gorman, David Moore, Bob Ryan, Ryan Durkin, Bark Labita, Rob Triple, Joe Lore, Bill Leibold, Marine de Moray, Jose, David Myers, John Cafardi, Olympico, Joseph of Hanger, 937, Justin Blair, Kyle Phillips, Ashley Newhouse, Dan Burns, Tyler Noen, Coach Clip, Justin Gregory, Scott Dalton, Jason Ashcraft, Jeffrey Tebbets, and Andrew McCormick. New Patreon this week. Thanks so much. Your name on Patreon is just Troll. I'm not sure if you're trolling us with your donation. Either way, it is impressively hilarious, and I got a good laugh when that came through. Thank you for supporting Cincinnati Soccer Talk and all we do. Heads up, Growler Cup is coming to an end, round 1, that is. So we are giving away a small cash prize as well as this 2016 Christian Moorline Blood Orange Imperial IPA signed by, I think this is Mitch Hildebrand. Yeah, number 1, it says. So that is an awesome prize that goes to the round 1 winner. We have just as cool prize for round 2. So you have about 2 weeks left to get in, and the only way to get in on the action is to play us and all the other people you just heard about, is to donate on the Patreon page to cool soccer content, and we just keep rolling it out for everybody. We're excited about it. Jump in while you can. All right, I guess it's time to get into our final thoughts. Somehow it is already past 10 o'clock. Who's up here first? Bryan?
Yeah, I completely forgot to change that part of the rundown there. So props to you, big guy. I don't know. I just I like the way things are going right now. Sometimes our city can be a little frustrating, as we've seen on social media and the radio waves tonight. So I just like us to focus on the good things if we can, and support the things that are positive out there, and channel your energy in the right way to support good, not defend bad. So do what you can, and love your neighbor, and keep going with FCC.
All right, Josh, you're up next.
Yeah. In that vein, I guess I'm gonna link it up, even if it's a little awkward. Big shout out to everyone in Cincinnati. You guys, yet another sellout. As somebody who doesn't get to attend TQL rarely ever, you guys have made that place an absolute fortress, and it's going to be electric as the season goes along, as this team keeps rolling and sellouts keep happening, and you keep showing a certain group, a certain ownership. Well, where else are you gonna go? Well, I think you guys have proved it.
Yeah, it's fun
Keep
to
it up.
watch. It's fun to watch. Success begat success, but FC Cincinnati always has had great fans. And you're just now seeing some of the club initiatives of trying to get it louder, trying to start new things like Gary Sword, which can be silly at times. But at the same time, I do enjoy the emphasis of getting fans there earlier in the seats and making sure that when FCC walks out, you have a nice crowd. That's a pretty cool change. Brad?
No, it's good to be back. It's been challenging 9.5 months in my world. So just good to be back talking with you guys and talking about something positive. Like I said, I appreciate all of our listeners who stood by us for those painful years. And, now we get to talk about winning and goals and fun stuff, and, not which player can we move on this summer so we can get somebody else. So yeah, just appreciate all you guys, and glad to be back, and hopefully continue to do a little bit more. I'm not going to jump in front of all these guys who are doing great work, but if you need a fourth every now and then, I still know where this stuff is, apparently.
Yeah, that's good. Now that we know you can set it back up again, we might have to call on you more often.
Yeah, what you don't see, you see guys like this nice fancy schmancy background I got, but what you guys don't see on the opposite side of this screen right now, I think I've got like baby sun window shade protectors, and I got all the clips for all of my counter cabinets and pulleys and things like that. So definitely still baby chaos around here.
Yeah. Thanks for being so awesome with our comments tonight, guys. Your comments definitely steer our show, and I'm going to talk about, one that caught my eye is it time to start looking at yellow card accumulation? I think, yeah, it is about time to start looking at it. I was worried the last 2 games we might see a red card with all of our yapping on the field. So that is stuff we're going to start diving into. Your comments, we go through these at the end of the show and just kind of reevaluate what we need to talk about. So appreciate that. Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate the night, and let's do it again next week. Go FCC. See you on Wednesday.